What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Thinktwice, a weekly show where we talk about things that go on in the world of Magic the Gathering, gaming, and pop culture. For episode 26, I'm your host, Justin Parnell, joined by my co-host, Ali Aintrazi. And this week, we're going to be talking about the upcoming banned and restricted announcement, the Magic story, The Flood, and the Netflix anthology series, BlackMirror. So, Ali, when we last left our hero, you were on a trek to Columbus to...
It was a mighty cold, freezing
a wintry night.
It was so cold, man.
It was dark, and you got your lantern out to lead the way.
Yeah, and then my lantern got pyroblasted, essentially.
Your lantern got pyroblasted? Did your lantern turn blue?
All right, so this might be like a little deja vu. Remember the turn before where my run was cut short by a Pyro Prism player that was playing Blood Moon, Chalice of the Void, and Call of the Hammer, and like rituals to accelerate into it.
And Goblin Rabblemaster and Chandra Torch Defiance. I remember that. Yeah, that was a harrowing experience for everyone because you're both playing decks designed to make the other person miserable.
Yeah, it basically knocked me out top 8, right?
Yeah, essentially.
So I have my deck sleeved up, Lantern Control sleeved up, round 1. Get paired against Pyro Prism. And I'm like, okay, you know what? This time I know what's going on. I got this. Game 1 he beats me. Game 2 actually beat him, and Game 3 it wasn't even close. He just he demolishes me. He has a turn 2 Chandra Torch of Defiance.
Okay, that's strong. That's a good start.
And to a turn 3, I think turn 3 Hazaret.
Okay.
And then turn 4 he just locks it up with Magus of the Moon. It's like, all right, well, that's it. Like Chandra, maybe I can beat if I have the needle. And then Hazaret's like, okay, it's a little tougher, but I need a bridge. And I need a bridge and two needles. Okay. Then Magus of the Moon is like, all right, that's it. I'm not happening. That's it. I'm done now.
So it's like you picked up right where you left off in Modern.
Exactly. It was like a to be continued. And then I just died again.
Well, do you not feel like there's some sort of justice in the world that you're playing Lantern and your opponent, who essentially ruined this deck, has ruined your day twice now, is playing a deck that is what is maybe your worst matchup?
I think it's by far my worst matchup. But it's fringe, so like people don't call it, you know, Lantern's worst matchup. They think Tron is. And don't get me wrong, Tron's an awful matchup. Like when you're playing like the big Tron with Karn, Ugin,
traditional Tron.
Yeah. That Tron deck is very bad for you. But this deck's worse. They have Chalice, Blood Moon, Chandra, and Rabblemaster. And these things don't come down like turn 3, 4. They come down turn 2. So.
Now, I was in Columbus too, and you were talking to me about making some changes to this deck.
Yeah, it's Lantern Control. I actually came up to you and started talking. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to try Doppler Foundry and Sword of the Meek in this deck. So, and I said, I'm not too keen on Tezzeret in the sideboard. Like, I know he's good, but I'm not like super hyped on him. 4 is a lot of mana. So I make some changes. I enter the Modern Challenge and don't drop a game.
It's impressive. Not even dropping a game is impressive.
It's pretty sweet.
Okay.
Doppler Foundry really shined against Burn. It was great against Burn.
Yeah,
just by itself. No sword, no sword. Just the Doppler Foundry by itself was great.
But just gaining those little bits of life.
Yeah. Then game 2, I think you watched it, where I was able to counter my opponent's Destructive Revelry because I just attacked the artifact he was targeting and essentially just gained 4 life. Because I countered the spell, so that prevented 3 damage. I gained 1 life from sacrificing the artifact. And he discarded a card, and I got Thopter, so I don't know. That's like a, what?
Against Burn, it might as well be like a 6-for-1.
Yeah, it was gross. It was gross.
So do you think that this is the way of the future for this deck?
I'm not certain yet, but I do think Thopter, Foundry, Sword of the Meek add a huge component to the deck and give you another angle of attack that it didn't have before. I found many times I was just like the bridge or Lantern of Insight and Codex Shutter quote unquote lock would buy me time for Thopter Foundry, Sword of the Meek to go off, and then after that my opponent would die in like 2 turns.
Sure.
But I think it's also nice to be able to, like, let's say your opponent games 2 and 3 casts like a Shatter Storm or Shattering Spree, destroys all your artifacts. Being able to just draw Thopter Foundry and like second artifact and just make a bunch of like Thopters, Sword of the Meek, is a nice way to come back into the game without just being dead to one Shatter Storm type deal or Ancient Grudge type deal.
Totally. And I know, Modern is a format that we know is not going to change for the next several months, for the foreseeable future. They've already announced that they're not going to be doing any bans in Modern in the next ban restricted update. So
yes, because of the Pro Tour.
Yeah, so this is kind of a good time to get familiar with a deck because you have a metagame that's really known. Like, there's not a lot. I don't think there's a lot of new decks that are going to be popping up. There might be some slight changes to some of the tribal decks with Rivals of Ixalan coming out, but ultimately, probably not. It's not, you're not changing your game plan against Merfolk because they have one new tool. So this is probably a good time for you for not just you, but for anyone that's playing Modern to kind of start getting comfortable with the deck and making some adjustments based on the metagame. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. The only card out of this entire set that I thought might see play in this deck is the Azor's Gateway, possibly.
Okay. Well,
because the deck plays Search for its content in the sideboard. The only problem with Azor's Gateway is...
Do you even have 5 different costs in your deck?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the answer is no, actually.
Yeah, no. So, never mind. Yeah, you can't play it. So I guess the deck gained like nothing from that set.
So now we said, Modern is not going to have any changes in the B&R update, but you and I have a sneaking suspicion that other formats may be changing.
Yes, absolutely.
So we are going to jump out for just a moment and be back to not only discuss our question of the week from last week, but what we expect from Monday's banned and restricted announcement. So, Ali, last week we covered Rivals of Ixalan in full. And one of the things that we were talking about is the stranglehold that we feel like Energy has on the format. So, because of that, maybe a lot of Rivals of Ixalan cards, as it currently stands in Standard, not going to be things you're going to be seeing in anything beyond maybe F&M. So, our question of the week, of course, was, is Rivals of Ixalan going to shake up Standard? We had 455 voters. You and I both agreed that we said no, and 73% of people agreed with us, which meant, of course, 27 of people disagreed and thought that, yes, Rivals is going to shake up Standard. Now,
I think out of those 27%, 26 probably believed something's getting banned. And that's why they thought Rivals were going to shake up Standard. So yes. I will say 1% actually thought that Rivals would shake up Standard without a ban.
Yeah, it's hard to say the percentage, but we definitely had a lot of comments of saying, well, I think this is going to get banned, so yes, it will. And of course, the reason for this is last Friday, which is when we posted this podcast obviously recorded it before Friday of last week. But last week's podcast came up at the same time as a article from the play design Wizards of the Coast play design team member Melissa DeTora called "Block Monsters and How We Avoid Them." And essentially, the entirety of the article was comparing energy to affinity. For those of you that have been around long enough, affinity is one of the more broken mechanics as a whole that has existed in Standard. And because of this article, a lot of people, ourselves included, but we'll get to that in a second, believe that there are going to be some sort of changes happening regarding energy in the next announcement, which comes out on Monday, which is only a couple days away from when we're, from if you're listening to this in real time when you're hearing it. So a lot of those people read that article, which of course came out as we released this podcast, and they were like, well, of course, based on this article, it seems like something's going to get banned. Yeah, well, we agree. We didn't know that at the time because we can't see the future. But we are going to try to predict the future today. So,
Da-da-da. Mysteries of the future.
The first thing I want to lead with, Ali, is do you think that this is Standard's worst run? So I'm talking about from basically, we'll call it, the elephant in the room, which is Kaladesh. We'll say starting from when Kaladesh was printed, so a little over a year ago to current time. We'll say about a year and a half. Because even before then, Collected Company was was dominating.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say, actually, why don't we say, we'll say close to 2. We'll say, we'll say a year and a half. Is this the worst run that Standard's ever had?
I would say no, just because I didn't really quit playing Magic during the Infinity time. I legitimately quit playing Magic. Like, it was just, they made multiple bans for that archetype to ban it. Like, it wasn't like one. They banned 9 cards, they said, and those 9 cards didn't happen in one banning. It was multiple different bannings, and that archetype that time was just, I would say, the black period. After that, I think the second worst was probably Caw-Blade, and that was because all you could play was Caw-Blade. Realistically, all you could play was Caw-Blade, like nothing else. At least with this format, like, sure, energy is dominating and is like making the format kind of stagnant, but you do have like Ramunap Red and you do have Approach. Like, I understand those aren't the best decks per se, but like, you have options. With Caw-Blade, I feel like you had no other options at all. And with Affinity, like, people literally were main decking, what was that one cost? Oxidize. Oxidize was an instant, 1 green instant said destroy target artifact. People were playing this for these in their main deck with 4 Viridian Shaman. Viridian Shaman was a 3-cost creature, 2 and a green, 2/2. When it comes to display, destroy target artifact, and they were still losing to Affinity. Like, Affinity would go turn 1 artifact land, and you could literally, if you want to, you could oxidize it. You could Stone Rain it for 1 mana, or Sinkhole it for 1 mana. And it still, like, didn't matter. Didn't really matter.
Yeah. For those of you that are old enough to remember, I started playing in Urza block. So really, I started playing like when 6th edition came out, which was between Urza's Legacy and Urza's Destiny. But when I started playing was what a lot of people consider the first time that Standard was just banned really heavily. So this is 1999. And there was a ton of bannings. A lot of people left the game. And then things were good for about 5 years. 5 years is the time that Ollie's talking about, which is Affinity. Really, when Darksteel came out with Arcbound Ravager, and you had all these Arcbound creatures. And the worst part about Affinity is all those cards that Ollie said, Oxidize and Viridian Shaman, you could have them, and just like he said, it didn't matter. Like, while those cards were legal, the deck was so oppressive, you could have all the hate. That's the difference between, like, now with Energy and then. there's nothing to hate out energy. There was plenty to hate out affinity. In fact, the block was chock full of it, but it didn't even matter. It was so ineffective, and it's not even ineffective. It's not even ineffective artifact destruction. It's actually pretty effective artifact destruction, all things considered, in the history of Magic. But it didn't matter because the strategy was that powerful and that fast and that resilient that I was also someone that was ultimately driven away by affinity. One, because I refused to play it, so I kept losing to it, and two, because it, I didn't trust what was happening with Magic. And
it was crazy.
And I think a lot of people are feeling the same way now. So even though I do ultimately think that both of those times are worse, and I do think that ultimately Callblade was worse, but the Callblade was a shorter period of time.
It was.
But it was a shorter period, but the effect it had was pretty dramatic because you had 3 decks to choose from. Just like you have 3 decks to choose from in Standard right now. You can play Teamer Energy, you can play Sultai Energy, or you can play 4-color Energy.
That's just energy, yeah.
Yeah, and that was Callblade. You could play Callblade, and you just got to pick the color you splashed.
Yeah, black, red, or whatever.
Or green. There was even like a Bant Callblade.
Sure.
Which was probably the worst one, but it's still better than every other deck.
Which is crazy.
So I agree. I don't think this is the Standard's worst run, but I think people feel like that. And the fact that almost everyone feels like that means it's about the same. Just because it's not as bad as how it's been historically doesn't mean that it's still not terrible.
Well, the thing is, too, if you think about it, okay, so Affinity had multiple bans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Affinity had multiple bans, and 9 cards are banned.
Yeah.
If you think about it technically, all these bans have been, quote, like, kind of energy bans. Like, the best Saheeli Felidar Guardian deck was a 4-color energy deck.
Without a doubt.
They banned Felidar Guardian. That was an energy deck. Then after that, Aetherworks Marvel took over. That was a Teamer energy deck with, like, that can be, you could play Teamer Marvel Control, or Teamer Marvel Midrange, or Teamer Marvel with Ulamog, or Teamer Marvel with whatever else you wanted. And that was energy. Okay, so then they banned Aetherworks Marvel. All right, that's fine. Now we have they banned Marvel, Copter, and Fletcher Mage.
And Emrakul.
And Emrakul, yeah. And
so
now
we've had a...
Which, by the way, I personally thought Emrakul was fine. Do you disagree with that?
Yes, but that was probably because not only could you play it in non-energy decks, but you could abuse it in energy decks.
I think that was the reason. They banned Emrakul, then they banned Marvel after banning the wrong card.
Well, yeah, but at the time that it was banned, it probably wasn't fine. It's a pretty unfun card to play against. I don't really want to get on the topic of Emrakul okay to ban, because like we could... Right.
So... but anyways, they banned Aetherworks Marvel, which was an energy deck, and now energy is still the best deck. So they basically they banned 2 cards out of quote unquote energy. And energy is still the best. So I'm really hoping this time they don't take it easy.
Okay, so if you were the DCI and you are Wizards, what would you do? What do you, Ali Aintrazi, what do you want to see happen on Monday?
Okay, if it was me,
yes.
If it was all up to me, I would axe a Tune with Aether. I would axe Aether Hub, Rogue Refiner out of here, and I'd also ban Harness Lightning. I'd ban Harness Lightning.
Okay.
Those 4. Tune with Aether, Aether Hub, Rogue Refiner, and Harness Lightning. What about you?
I am going to take it one step further. I agree with every single card you said, and I'm going to toss in Whirler Virtuoso for just a cherry on top.
Okay.
I want to sweep the leg. Okay.
Oh, you're just crushing it.
Yeah.
The only reason,
just get it out. Just entirely clean it up. Okay, go ahead.
I would say the only reason I might want to keep Whirler is because of the City's Blessing, and because of Word of Invention. And Whirler, I think Whirler is a okay card. Like, it doesn't. I know it generates a Thopter, but I think that one's like kind of. That one's kind of fine. At least it doesn't give like a new card and energy. Like Rogue Refiner gives you 2 energy and a new card. Whirler basically just gives you 3 energy. That's it.
Yeah, the most energy of all the cards you listed.
That's fine.
Eh.
Except harness lighting.
That also gives you 3. It might be fine. I'd rather not only do
rather be safe than sorry.
Not only do I think that, not only do I want it to get banned, I actually think that if I had to guess, I think that they are actually going to ban, and this is my opinion, they're going to choose Attune with Ether, Rogue Refiner, and Whirler Virtuoso. I think it's those 3 because that makes up the most important, I guess, play pattern for these energy decks. Starts obviously with Attune, and then on 3 you're playing one of those 2, and it gives you such a significant advantage.
So you're just cutting both those legs, essentially?
Yeah. I'm shooting in the chest, in the heart, which is Attune with Ether, and I'm taking out the left kneecap, which is Rogue Refiner, and the right kneecap, which is Whirler Virtuoso.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So what do you think, Ollie? What do you think is going to happen?
Here's the thing's going to happen.
Okay.
They're going to ban Attune with Ether.
Okay, shoot it in the heart.
Because of that meme I shared with Attune with Ether and 20 options on Twitter.
Yeah, that's probably exactly why. No other reason. Continue.
No other reason, exactly. Long Tusk Cub.
Okay, so you're going for the ankle.
I'm not going for the ankle. I think they're going to go for the ankle.
You think they're going to go for the ankle? Okay. So you think they're going to go for the chest and then the
ankle?
Yeah, the right ankle. The right ankle.
All right, and the last one. Ready for this?
Yeah.
I think the last one's going to be Thriving Turtle.
Okay. What's your one after that?
That's it.
Okay. Interesting. That does make sense because they banned Reflector Mage, knowing that it was going to get good. So I think they're going to go ahead and take out Thriving Turtle, knowing that once these other things go, that's Thriving Turtle's next man up.
Yeah, I mean, like, Thriving Turtle is a 1 blue 0/3. When it comes into play, it gives you 2 energy, okay?
That might as well be Attune with Ether.
But basically, whenever it attacks, you can pay 2 energy, and it gets a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah, I mean, that's just
1 mana, 1/4 that grows every time it attacks.
I'm surprised that card's not called Attune with Turtle.
I agree. I mean, like, so yeah, that's my thing. Attune with Ether hub. Wow, Attune with Ether.
Attune with Ether hub.
Yeah, basically, Attune with Ether, Long Tusk Cub, and Thriving Turtle. All get the axe.
Yeah.
Poor turtle, but that's what happens when you have energy on your back.
Got to pay for the sins of another. I really hope that they, in all seriousness, like I really hope. I think they need to gut it.
Oh, I did too. Like, please don't ban one. If you ban 2 cards, 3 cards.
What's the nightmare scenario for Wizards right now?
They ban 2 or 3 cards, and energy's still the best deck. Like, that's it. Like, everyone's done.
Yeah, don't you? Yeah, don't you? No. I mean, are you not? Do you not lose all hope in this format?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm personally done. Like, if they ban like 2 or 3 cards, and energy's still the best deck, or just 2 cards, whatever it is, or even 1 card. Maybe they just ban 1 card, and energy's still the best deck. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. I'm tapping out. When the Kaladesh rotates, I'll come back in. But
see you in October.
Yeah, I am out this year. I'll play something else. I'll play Modern. I'll play whatever. But I'm tapping out.
Okay. Well, why don't we talk about other formats that are a little bit healthier than Standard at the moment? We know, as we said, that Modern, you're not going to get a ban in Modern, which I think is great. I think that format's the healthiest format of all. What about other formats? What about Vintage or Legacy? Do you think any other bans are going to happen in either of those formats?
I don't think so. I mean, I personally, I'm not. You are a bigger player of Vintage and Legacy than I am.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ban anything. I think the card people are complaining about is Deathrite Shaman, but I personally do not know if that's worth banning or not.
I do know whether it is or not.
Here's the mic.
Okay, let me grab that. Okay, thank you. If they ban Deathrite Shaman in Legacy, I'm going to rage. We will have a segment next week, or whenever it happens, if it ever happens, if they ban Deathrite Shaman in Legacy. And of course, people are like, it's too efficient. It's a 1-mana Planeswalker. If that's the case, why are we not talking about the actual problem card in this format? I love Legacy. I want to put that out there. And listeners know, you guys know that I play Legacy a lot. I'm very familiar with this format. I'm not coming from a place of ignorance when I say this. The problem card for the sameness of decks in Legacy is the card Brainstorm. Period. This is where it starts and stops. Every deck that is consistent and is going to consistently be consistent in the format of Legacy plays Brainstorm. Yes, I understand the Deathrite Shaman is powerful, but the combination of Deathrite Shaman, Brainstorm, and Fetch Lands makes for these consistently unfun game states or same games that you play if you're playing blue and black, which is the most popular color combination in the format. The reason for that is obviously Brainstorm and Deathrite Shaman. Brainstorm is the problem. This card is generally just Ancestral Recall. I love Brainstorm personally as a card, but for the health of the format, this is the card that needs to go. I know it's not going to because I don't think Wizards has the balls to pull Brainstorm. I think it's going to stay forever. I think they think it's a pillar of the format, and I think that's crap. I think if you want this format to be healthy, going into this team Pro Tour that you're going to have, you want to fix Legacy, you want to make Legacy a legitimate Brewers format, you can leave Deathrite Shaman. You can answer Deathrite Shaman. It's really difficult to answer Brainstorm. It's almost impossible.
Shoot the real problem. Shoot the elephant.
Shoot it in the head. We're talking about a Tomb of Ether. Shoot it in the heart. Shoot it in the head.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, people love Brainstorm.
Myself included. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think us just even saying that is going to make some people mad, even suggesting it. But I can't disagree with you. Like, the strongest card in Legacy is by a mile Brainstorm. I remember the first time I cast that card. Okay, I was actually on a feature match. It was like round round 1 or 2, maybe, or 3, maybe. I don't know. I was coming off buys. I was playing Miracles the first time. First time playing Miracles. The first time playing Brainstorm.
Yeah.
In my match, I go main phase of Brainstorm, draw 3. Okay, my hand was Brainstorm, land. Okay.
All right.
So I fetched in a play and a land, it was like 3 or 4 lands. Maybe it was 5 lands. I don't know. It was awful. Regardless, I Brainstorm. All I know is I Brainstorm. I draw 3 cards. I put 3 cards back, and I am so happy because I have this newfound hand that's glorious.
Did you put 3 cards back or 2 cards back?
I put 3 cards back.
Okay.
And I am just so happy because this card's great. This format's great. My hand is all lands. Now I got spells, and then I go to crack a fetch, and someone tells me to stop, and I say why? What's going on? And they say we think you put 3 cards back. I'm like, oh. I put too many cards back, and the card was still insane. It literally like you said, it was recall. My hand was all lands and turned into just all gas. It went from I can't win this game to good luck, good opponent, good luck.
And
the card's absurd. The card's just very, very, very powerful.
I mean, the issue is, here's the real issue. The ultimate issue is fetch lands, but you can't get rid of those because there's too many people using those honestly. Yeah. Those fixed mana for fair decks. So you can't take them away. And if you don't take all of them away, you're still going to be able to play them with Brainstorm. Brainstorm is the one that needs to go because that, combined with Fetch Lands, lets you turn a Brainstorm into an Ancestral Recall, a card that you can only play one of in Vintage. The reason that Brainstorm is less powerful in Vintage than Ancestral Recall is because you can also just play 1. If you could play 4 Brainstorm, you'd play 4 Brainstorm in that format too.
And I've actually seen arguments for people comparing Brainstorm to Recall and saying Brainstorm is not that much worse.
It's situationally better.
Yes.
Because as in formats where you see a high clip of discard, the ability to hide cards from people trying to snag them out of your hand is something no other card can do efficiently.
Yeah.
Modern is, Legacy is a format where discard is played not all the time, but played pretty frequently. You see Thoughtseize, you see Duress, you see Hymn to Turok, you see Cabal Therapy from time to time. These are all cards that get played frequently. You even see Inquisition of Kozilek on a rare basis, but not very often because Force of Will is so ubiquitous. It costs 5. You can't snag it with IOK.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have this card that enables so many decks just by the virtue of playing a single color, which is blue, you absolutely have to start every blue deck with 4 Brainstorms because it gives you such an insane advantage over opponents that are not playing Brainstorm. It almost makes it wrong to not do so. When that becomes the case, and this has been the case for years, since Mental Misstep was banned in Legacy, which was shortly after it was released, we're approaching 10 years on that. Once you get to that point, Brainstorm becomes the best card consistently and has been the best card since then. You want to save Legacy? Save, and I'm putting air quotes around that because some people think it needs saving. Deathrite Shaman is not the answer. Brainstorm. Get rid of Brainstorm. Legacy is improved. My rant is done.
Real quick before we move on, you know what would make me interested in watching a Legacy Pro Tour or Legacy Open or Legacy GP, Legacy anything?
Well, I don't know. What? Lantern of Insight?
No.
Okay.
Them saying, hey, we're banning Brainstorm.
Sure.
That literally just turns the format on its head. It's like, guys, brew. Bring back Maverick. Bring back maybe Goblin. I don't know. I don't know. Bring Brew. Like, do whatever you want. Like, go.
Yeah. The thing is, you don't kill any decks. Every deck is still functional. It's just that you take out a piece of the blue decks. Like Delver decks, you still have Ponder. You still have other cards you can play to make Delver good. You take out its best card, of course, because Brainstorm is the best card in every deck it's in, which is every deck that has blue.
Yeah.
Okay, now my rant's actually done. I'm ready to move on to the next segment. I want to I gotta cool down.
All right, I'm ready too, but
cool down with some water, maybe some flood water.
Some flood water. Okay. I like that.
Okay. All right. So we're really excited that Magic Story came back this week. So we are going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to discuss this week's Magic Story, The Flood. So, The Flood. This is a story that serves many purposes, both in the name of the story and the story that it's telling. But since the first thing that you see about the story is its name, I want to talk about that briefly. What is the flood referencing?
The Amonkhet flood. And how the Luxor River floods every year and gives you bountiful treasure.
I don't think that's it.
Oh no? Maybe it's the memories rushing into Jace's head and flooding out of his brain.
Maybe
it's everyone rushing into the temple.
Maybe
of flooding the temple, trying to get into it. Or maybe that's all I got.
Maybe it's just literal. Maybe it's the literal flood that was happening that washed Jace and Vrosco away over a waterfall.
Oh man, that's crazy. When are things actually literal?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it could be all three, and it is, in my opinion. That's why this story name is great. Because it's perfect. It's short, it's sweet, and it serves many masters in its name.
It does.
So, Ollie, why don't you give us a quick rundown of this story? Just very brief.
Okay, so basically, we have the temple of... I still can't pronounce his name. Orzka? Orazka is coming up. You have Kamina. I can't say his name either. Kamina is going to the temple. He wants to get the Immortal Sun for his own purposes. You also have Vona and Mavrin Fane right behind him. Anyways, Kamina goes up the stairs. Starts hearing voices saying, come to the sun, follow me, come here. And he knows the voice is familiar, but he doesn't know what it is. This voice is very reminiscent of Mirari. If you guys know what the Mirari is, but it's a different story anyways. So he hears this, but he ends up finding out that the voice is actually it's himself talking. He's like, am I going mad or not? And the voice says something to the extent of like, I have all the power, but with you. It was weird. Anyways, he goes up there. He's surrounded by golden light. Vona is like, "Hey, give me the mortal sun. Give me the power." Commander's like, "I can handle one vampire," and she's like, "Ho ho ho ho! I got Maverick Fane with me too." So they both like go after him, start biting him and whatever, and then Vona's like,
trying to bite him.
Yeah, trying to bite him, and Vona's like, I'm gonna bite you or something. He's like, I dare you to bite me. I'll never blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh yeah? She hulks out, picks him up over her head, just tosses him out the window, down to wherever he's going. And then you see her like glowing with the gold power of Orzaka. And that's that. Then we see Jace. His memories are still like flooding out of his head. Vraska's there holding him. He's like crying and she's like holding him, trying to comfort him. She feels all his memories. She feels and sees what he's seeing, and she's afraid that like he's gonna hate her afterwards. He's not gonna like her anymore, and that all happens. And then finally, his like all the memories come back in. They settle down, and Jace doesn't appear to hate her, and they talk for a little bit, and after that, what happens after that?
After which part?
After Jace's like memories like flooding, Vraska's like, she feels it. She talks him through it, and then like we just go to. That's it, right? Like, just memories, right?
Just memories after memories after memories.
Yeah, and then the memories
until
like,
they finally subside because he's essentially cried himself out.
Yeah,
and then he kind of comes to his senses and realizes where he is and kind of his current state of being.
Yes,
and that's where the story ends.
Yep.
Okay.
That was super cut short, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're trying to be brief.
Yep.
So what part do you want to what part do you want to start with to discuss more in depth?
I like the flood of memories, particularly the part where he realizes he's being flooded with memories by his home plane.
Well, does he realize?
Or he remembers. He remembers how many times he's erased his memory and how many times his memory has been erased.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is like crazy. Like he's erased his memories so many times and his memory's been erased, and you find out he's been abused, he's been tortured, he's been used, very similar to Vraska.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of similarities between Jace being mentally abused in the way that Vraska was physically abused.
Yes. That's not to say Vraska wasn't also mentally hurt and abused as well, but Jace was like psychically abused, like as attacked.
Yes, like
it's basically something that
I mean, in the way that you would
in a way that we can't understand
physically
really.
Attack someone's brain.
Yeah, exactly. Like
rather
I'm sure
rather than his body.
Right. I'm sure Vraska is mentally abused too, or emotionally abused. But Jace is literally brain damage.
Yeah, mentally and
assault.
I'll say that Jace was mentally abused. Vraska was physically and emotionally abused. I think both of them were emotionally abused, but I think mental and emotional are not the same thing.
Fair enough. Okay, sure. So Vraska was emotionally abused. Jace was emotionally abused, but he's also literally mentally abused as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And that start to me was really weird, really strange, because Alhamret, who was his mentor, was the one abusing him. The one that was like using him and
who Jace,
his teacher,
believed to be training him to be this mind mage.
Yeah, that's messed up, man.
I mean, it is. So I have a few differing feelings on Jace.
Okay.
One, and I've said this before, I believe that Jace and his memories are an unreliable narrator. While we are certainly led to believe that all of these things happened exactly how Jace's memory is portraying them, I don't know that that's something that me as a reader that I entirely trust. And that doesn't mean that Jace is doing this on purpose. In fact, most of what happened in the story is something completely out of his control. As Vrosk, this story, half of the story is told from Vrosk's point of view, and actually is not told from Jace's point of view at all, even though Vrosk is essentially going on a journey of Jace in mind. But because of that, I'm not buying in as much to the woe is Jace. He's been through such awful things.
Okay.
So the story continues to paint Jace as a victim, to even to the point of Vraska verbally confirming that. And she says at a point in the story to Jace when he's trying to basically be down on himself, saying like all the terrible things that he did that he's remembering. She says to him, no one ever chooses to be a victim. Saying to Jace, don't feel bad, you are the one that's a victim here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he is not, but I'm not sure that he is in every single sense.
What do you mean?
Well, he's obviously a tragic character to a degree. And I think the thing that I like most about this story, and this story arc in particular, is that even though I still don't know if I like Jace, I think he is a more developed character. To me, that doesn't make him more likable, because I don't find him as interesting as I find other characters. For example, regardless of... I don't know if they could paint Jace in a way that I would find him more interesting than I find Vraska. And I think that ship is kind of sailed, no pun intended.
Yeah, I think part of his reason is because we don't really... Like, Jace has been built up, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't really... And we also don't really understand what it's like... Like people can relate to Vraska much easier than they can with Jace. Like, people can understand how it feels to be abused or emotionally manipulated or emotionally crapped on or ignored. People can relate to that a lot easier than your mind being like ripped apart or like being tortured. I actually disagree. That's not why I feel like I like Vraska better. It's actually her empathy and her reasoning for acting the way she does. And that has nothing to do with her. That has nothing to do with her past. I mean, it might be formed by her past, but that's the character that we're reading about is in the present. So right, sure.
I'm not my connection to her and liking her character is not how she has been treated in the past. Like that's not necessarily it at all.
Right.
It's how she has chosen to interact with Jace, especially starting from the very beginning of the story. What was the first thing Vraska thought when she saw Jace? On the first story,
I'm gonna kill him.
Exactly. Yeah. And look how far she's come. And it has you have not seen any of these things happening from her past being played out in the present. Now, we've talked about in the story things that have happened in Vraska's past, but it's not something that you see continually. Jace, I really liked when he was not sure of who he was, and he allowed himself to be rebuilt as a person. I don't think we're going to get that, so I just don't know where we're going to go with Jace from here, because now he's a mix of who he was before because he's having all his memories back, and he's of course going to try to better himself and be a better person and not try to be crappy to people.
I think it was okay. We've seen shades of Jace. We've seen parts of Jace. We've never seen this Jace. This Jace is literally the only time he's been fully intact. Is what he is now. Like it literally says this is I've never like been whole before.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I'm not sure how he knows he's whole, but
I don't think he does. I don't know how he possibly could.
Well, actually, he's not whole, right? He's not whole.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know how you can. Yeah. I don't know how I could say that.
Yeah, but he does say that. He does say like it's the first time I remember everything. It's the first time like I feel I am whole is what he says. Exact word. I can't remember his exact words, but he does say that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, that's not true because he also does not remember, or not yet. He does not remember how his mind was destroyed when he got or how he got to Ixalan. He still does not remember Bolus.
Yeah, in fact, he's not all the way up to his memory. Even though during the story we saw Vraska kind of go through places that Jace has been. Like we saw her seeing Zendikar. We saw her seeing Ravnica in parts that she wasn't familiar with. We saw her seeing Vren. So these they're kind of varying points in his memory that he doesn't have a full grasp on, that she's just seeing like she's going through a book of just pictures, essentially. And of course, there's one scene in particular, which is the scene that I like the most, is the scene where she is seeing him on Innistrad.
With Liliana.
With Liliana, yes. And as we were talking about before we started recording, to me, this scene was heartbreaking from 3 different sides.
How do you know this was Innistrad?
Because this is where Liliana was. They talk about just it's immediately post defeating Emrakul.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. They joke about Emrakul. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
or Emrakul defeating herself.
Yes.
Yeah, so we know it's on Innistrad.
Okay.
We also know it's in the manor that Liliana was stationing herself in when they found her on Innistrad.
Okay, fair enough.
So, but to me, again, this scene was heartbreaking from 3 sides. Jace, one, because he so cares about Liliana and he's trying to open himself up. And this is a Jace where we're seeing in this scene that was before all of the events of Ixalan, where Jace would not open himself up to anyone. In fact, he was very closed off and he was really rude, in fact, to all of his other friends, and I'm using air quotes around that in the Gatewatch, except for Liliana, who he so desperately cared for and so desperately wanted to be with.
Yeah.
That he is willing to open himself up at any angle to talk about anything he needs to just to be close to her.
Yeah, and she's just dismissing him. Like she's either feigning boredom or basically she's bored. She basically either pretends she's bored or she's actually bored.
Well, we know she's not bored. She wants him to stay. She wants him to be there. She's so closed off from everyone else because of something, and I'll get to that in a second, that she literally is incapable of making a human connection with Jace, even though she knows that she cares about him and she knows that Jace cares about her. She still is not even willing to be even nice to him.
No. She's not, but she's doing it in a way that's like, she's not pushing him away. She's not saying, okay, you know what? I've been hurt before. I don't want to be in a relationship or want anything like that. She's literally like being just super selfish. Like, okay, she's closed off.
I disagree, but I'll let you continue.
okay, I feel like she is still like giving him like a little tidbit, like, hey, I care a little bit, but not that much. It's like she obviously wants to protect herself from whatever she's experienced or happened, but she's not fully that way. She's like in between somewhere of like protecting herself, not getting too close, but also like leading someone on, and it's just like it's going to cause infinite damage to that person.
Okay.
Jace, basically.
Sure. Do you think... Okay, you remember Jace as a character before Ixalan, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Jace was kind of a jerk. He was really arrogant. He thought he knew better than everyone else. He was a poor communicator despite having the most means of communication of any character.
Yeah, but he also came off as frail and weak and like epitome of mind mage.
Yes, sure. Now, once you as you're learning his story and his backstory, does that make you like him more?
Right now?
Yeah. More than you did.
More than did, yes.
Okay. Do you think that Liliana has just always been like this?
Absolutely not. Okay. I'm not saying she is. She has been.
So why are we giving Jace a pass when we know for sure, like I can say with certainty that Liliana has been through more crap just based on her age that has caused her to be this closed off to people, that she has not had multiple traumatic experiences to where she is literally unable to make a human connection with someone that she cares about. That's how damaged that she is, and she can't escape from her own shell to even say, no, please stay, I want your company, and she has to play this game because she's so unwilling to open herself up. Like, there's something that has happened to her. We just don't know about it yet. Her story hasn't been told. I really hope that we get like the full-throated Liliana story soon. The
way she's handling it is very poorly. Like, if you compare Vraska's past, let's say Liliana's past is equally bad or worse, the way Vraska handles it is much better than the way Liliana is. Like, she's like selfish, and I don't hate her, but it's like I'm mad at her. Like, one of the quotes was, okay, the woman of Violet looked at Jace in the eyes, lids heavy, knees resting to the side. This was after Jace asked her, "Will you be sad when I die?" She says, I expect so. A half sentiment, a bone for the dog. What we had, whatever you want to call it, it's worth that much at least. Like, this is... Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Because it seems like she's emotionless, or worse, purposely trying to manipulate how Jace feels because he knows that he's asking a question that's really important. Her answer is really important to him. But we know for sure, based on Liliana's interactions here and previous interactions, that she legitimately cares about Jace. She's even said as much that she does. Previously.
Sure. But the way she treats him, like, it makes me angry. But like afterwards, Jace thanks her. She basically slaps him around. He thanks her. He's like, I think it's the nicest thing you ever said to me. This
is not about Jace. This isn't about this. Like, to me, this interaction isn't about Jace. This is about how brutally damaged Liliana is. And it's,
but she's so damaged that she's damaging others because she's not willing to address her thing.
And that's exactly what Jace was doing before he lost his...
Jace wasn't hurting others like that. Like okay, but this is Jace before. This is literally Jace before.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, but how is he hurting Liliana? He's not. Like, he's still looking to be close to somebody.
I'm not in this moment. I'm saying what you're saying about Liliana is what Jace was before this happened, not with her specifically, but just in general.
No, I mean, I don't think so.
Oh,
no.
Man.
Liliana is super closed off, and to a degree where, like, yes, I agree she's been damaged. Yes, something tragic has happened to her, or has happened to her where she doesn't trust anybody, doesn't want to let anyone in. Maybe she had to fend for herself growing up, or whatever it is. Like, but the way she treats others...
Well, we know that she killed her brother on accident.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And then made a deal with 4 demons for
Yeah.
to try to save herself from growing old and trying
Yeah.
to correct things and ultimately just
Yeah,
becoming
selfish.
corrupted. What?
Yeah, self-absorbed. Anyways,
You think
like, I think the Vraska and Liliana both come from similar trees. They're completely different branches, though. Like, you can do one thing with what you know or what happened to you, and you can like make better of it and go a certain way, or you can just be this bitter.
how old do you think Vraska is?
I understand Liliana's older, but still, man, like the way she handles it makes me like upset, like because she's been so damaged. She knows she's been damaged. Instead of fixing herself, she's just damaging other people. Like,
I think you're greatly oversimplifying it.
I don't think I am.
Okay. How about this? Here's one thing I think we can both agree on. The character that I felt the worst for in this entire scene was Vraska.
Was who?
Vraska.
Yeah.
Because Vraska has to sit here, can't escape from this memory that's not even hers, that she's watching someone that she loves, Jace, because at this point I believe she legitimately loves Jace, watch him fawn over the person that he desires, who is Liliana. Not only that, which would hurt, but watch him be rejected.
And treated like trash.
And treated like crap, knowing that she cares about Jace and that Jace cares about Liliana. And and that as soon as he gets his memories back, those memories about her are going to come back. And that where does that leave Vraska? Someone who has not only mentally cared for Jace, but physically cared for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the worst third wheel situation ever, and I feel awful for all of them. Like it was really just a rough scene, but I felt the worst for Vraska.
I felt bad for Vraska. I felt bad for Jace. I did not feel bad for Liliana.
Okay. We'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
Okay. Oh, the last thing, I just felt like she was taking a bad situation and making it worse when she could have like improved on it. But anyways, we're going to disagree.
Okay. So we do have question of the week. Obviously, you guys just heard our discussion on Jace.
Maybe that should have been the question of the week.
What?
I said maybe that should have been the question of the week. What is Liliana?
Well, I mean, I think we need to hear more about Liliana's story before we ask that question. But we're talking about Jace because we know a lot about Jace.
Sure.
Ali, question of the week. Do you like the way Jace's character is developing?
Yes, I do. As of right now, I do.
Do you want to elaborate?
Oh, I was going to let you give your answer first.
No, I do not.
You don't?
No.
Okay. I do like the way his character's developing. I like seeing Jace, like, Jace on Ixalan is the most I've ever liked Jace ever. Like, obviously the first time I saw him on Lorwyn, it was like, okay, Jace is cool. He's like the emo guy. He's Sasuke on Naruto. He's like the guy in the hood that's BA, and that's Jace. But then after like the story develops, you're like, okay, this guy's just like a wimp. Like he uses his mind magic all the time. I don't really like him. Like I'm not a huge fan of Jace. And then you see him here, and he gets dropped to like level 0, and you see who Jace is at his core without being influenced by everybody else or by manipulated by Alhamrit or his mind wiped or Tezzeret or whatever. You just see Jace. And the way he interacts, like he literally moved me. The way he talked to Vraska before Rivals of Ixalan on Ixalan, the way he talked to her and how he Vraska loves Jace for a reason. He gave her hope after she felt like she deserved nothing.
Yeah.
He painted this picture of like a future for her, and he literally changed her point. Like he literally changed the way the world is for her. And this was all because of Jace. Like So yeah, I mean, I do like the way Jace is going in developing his character. Like even the story, I like it too because even after Liliana, the whole thing about Liliana, Vraska asks him too. She's like, "Hey, do you remember the past like 3 weeks or something?" He's like, "Yeah, they were the best 3 weeks of my life," and that there's just like, "F yeah," like this is sweet. So yeah, I do like the way Jace is developing.
I think that this is a cop out, and I think Jace's expansion of whatever is going on with him, he's literally just going to use Vraska as a stepping stone to regain whatever he feels like he needs to. He knows that he's powerful.
Okay.
And he's remembering how powerful he is. It outlines in the story how he literally is so powerful he wiped all Hammurath's, however you pronounce it, the Sphinx on Vryn, wiped his mind along with Jace's own mind when we thought previously that it was the other way around.
Yeah. It was very reminiscent of literally Sonic Blast. He dealt 4 to Hamrat, killed him, and then did 2 to himself.
Yes, exactly. But I feel like Vraska, who, in my opinion, has had the best character development in this entire story easily, is going to get left in the dust as Jace is the primary character that we're supposed to be learning about and caring about because he's a part of the Gatewatch, and he's simply not, in my opinion, as interesting as Vraska is. And I think this is just going to serve to reset Jace's character because he was generally unliked by the public. And I think that is the primary function of this story, and I don't care for it.
I don't know if that's true, man. I think like he was unliked by the loud majority. Like people complain about things they don't like more than they complain about things they like.
Yeah.
I think it's just people complaining about being loud. I think there are. I think it's about even.
Well,
I think
Ali, you know the best part about this?
What?
This is our question of the week, so we're going to find out. You can let us know at Ali Aintrazi, at JParnell1, or at Thinktwice MTG. Question of the week: do you like the way Jace's character is developing? I say no. Ali says yes. You guys heard our arguments. Let us know on the Twitters where this question is going to be posted.
Let us know he's wrong. Okay, like sure, Jace has had things, but
we'll see.
Let him know. Let him know.
We will see.
All right.
Okay, Ali. Anything else on the flood?
That's it.
Okay.
I'm right.
All right. I'm really excited about our next segment. We're going to throw up a spoiler warning with the noise that Director Choi puts in. Yep, there was the noise. Okay, great. And we are going to jump out for a moment. When we return, we're going to be talking about the Netflix anthology series Black Mirror.
You can blame me, try to shame me, and still I'll care for you.
Oh, man. So, again, we want to throw up a spoiler warning. Not only for the fourth season of Black Mirror, but probably for Black Mirror as a show in general, because there's a lot of callbacks for previous stuff that's happening. In the fourth season, there's a lot going on. In fact, so much that today is going to be part one of our kind of review of the fourth season of Black Mirror on Netflix. We're going to be talking about the first 3 episodes, which are titled USS Callister, Archangel, and Crocodile.
Crocodile.
So why don't we start with just the first episode and talk about that, which is USS Callister.
Yes, this is Jace at work here. Instead of confronting his problems, he has made a virtual reality where he takes people's DNA and simulates people in that game.
Yes, so the main character, the primary character that you meet is a game designer. And when you first meet them, you don't know he's a game designer because he's actually, it looks like it's an old, like a 70s or 80s, like Star Trek like TV show.
Yeah.
And then you realize this is a game that he has made called Callister. Well, the company that he has created along with his business partners called Callister, which makes basically a reality simulated game where you can do all sorts of stuff. But in his personal time, he takes DNA samples, transposes those DNA samples into a computer in his home, and creates simulations of people in an offline version of his game where he puts them into the first scene of the show, which is the TV show replication that he's made for his personal enjoyment. The issue with this is he basically takes a portion of this person's consciousness as it exists in the exact moment he took the DNA. And then when they pop up in this game, they think that they're just real people.
Yeah. Yeah. They feel everything. They know what they know. They know what they know in the other life, or their, not other life, but their actual reality.
Yeah, wherever they were in the current time when he got that bit of DNA.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
So they're very confused. These simulations are very confused. And actually, most of the time that we spend in this episode is with these simulations of people. So there's kind of two parts to this. There's the real world, where the main character, which is the designer, played by Jesse Plemons, is the CTO for this company that runs this, and he's kind of in charge of the creation of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And he's put a few people, and he's put his partner in, who he's become increasingly frustrated with. He's put in other people that he has had issues with at work. And then the newest character, which is played by, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget her name. Kristen Maloney, I think is that. It's
yeah. All I know is this guy was super passive-aggressive. Like, he was so passive-aggressive that instead of dealing with problems in the real world, he made this fake world where it was crazy, though. In this world, he was not passive-aggressive at all. He was the opposite.
Yeah.
He treated people like crap.
He was authoritative. He was...
He's basically, in his game world, he's basically like a god.
And he was essentially enslaving all of these simulations.
Yeah. Yes. He could do whatever he wanted to them. He could erase their face. He could transform them into
whatever,
a piece of poop. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, you could do.
Yep.
He was basically a god.
So at the end of this episode, since we're in spoilers, at the end of this episode, one of the characters, which is Kristen Maloney's character, sends essentially a message from the game. Her consciousness sends, or her simulation sends a message from the game to her, the real person, and gets her to run some errands. Unbeknownst to her, she's blackmailing herself with racy pictures, and gets her to basically distract him, and then replace these basically the little thing that you plug into your head to let you let you be in the game with your brain. Yeah, because it's not on a computer; it's in your mind, so it's full immersion.
Yes.
And at the end of the episode, this ends up killing him because he's stuck in the game and he can't come out of this. So he can't eat or drink or do anything, and presumably just dies in his apartment.
Yeah, he dies in his own. Yeah, he dies in his own world that's completely black, nothing on, and he loses all power. He can't shape anymore. He can't rebuild. He's just
because his portion of the game. His portion of the game has been connected to the internet, and an update goes through that overwrites the offline version of the game that he had.
Yes, and completely obliterates like whatever he's made, and he's basically just like imagine the universe before anything was there, just blackness
in a spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that, like, he died like in real life. Do you think I mean, was that deserved?
Was that deserved?
Yeah.
That's tough. I don't know. That's tough. Like, that's like saying like the people that were in the game, were they real?
Exactly. Well, that's my next question. They're the people that did this to him. Like, were these people at all? I mean, they're like simulations of people.
Was it deserved? I'll say yes. I'll say yes because he did this. He did this himself. He knew what he was doing, and he tortured people. Like, he tortured one of the guys by bringing his son in and throwing him out into space.
He didn't torture real people.
But what's real and what's not real? Like, if it's the exact clone, just in digital space, like, they can feel everything and taste everything and know what they know. Like,
but because
at that point you're asking, like, what is reality? What is real? Real is what?
What is
five
reality?
senses?
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
is that a death sentence? Does he deserve a death sentence for doing that? I'm not disagreeing that he was a extremely passive aggressive, like, kind of creepy dude.
No, he deserved it because those people were real. Because if you like reality, just because our reality is what we see and like we think our reality is real, like those people had everything we had the same five senses, had the same almost same exact stuff we had. They
didn't have genitals.
Sure, but they had like everything else. Like I'm saying, like yeah, they were real according to what real is. They're real. Just because it was digital space and something we don't have right now or we can't really understand, doesn't mean they weren't real people. He basically he literally just cloned them, but instead of cloning them in real life, he cloned them inside a game somehow because, you know, he's in the future.
Yeah, but it's not their consciousness. Like, it's not their actual consciousness. It's like it's a simulation using their DNA.
But it's still like but it's still them. Like they felt they were basically treated like people. They felt like people. Okay, I want to say yes. He deserved it, and yes, that they were real.
Okay, and I legitimately don't know. Like, I don't know the answer to this question. Like, I kind of side with you, but I don't know. It's tough, and I think that's like this is my favorite thing about Black Mirror. Ultimately, is the discussion after that. Is the discussion after the case where you watch the episode and then these are the things that you need to talk about. The second episode of Black Mirror is called Archangel. And in this episode, in the beginning, a mom is on a playground with her daughter, looks away for a moment, looks back, her daughter's gone. She runs everywhere trying to track her down. A neighbor finds the daughter. She freaks out, takes her to this experimental facility where they have some technology called Archangel that you implant into the brain ish of a child, and you can both track where it is, as well as see what the child is seeing, and then blur any images when it becomes too violent or dangerous for a child to see, as well as kind of blank out sound that could be.
Yeah, you essentially make your kid a 5/5 generic 5 white 5/5 flying vigilance angel called Archangel. We can just control them and censor them.
I don't think you could control them.
Not control them. I mean, sorry. You can censor what they see, hear, and it didn't show smell, but yes, basically you censor them, and then you can also track them. So like, not only can you track where they're going, but you can literally censor what they see.
Yeah. So
and hear.
Yes.
Muffles too.
So this is in my opinion, a classic Black Mirror train wreck episode. Because within like the first 5 minutes, you see a decision that a character is making, and you know that ultimately it will go poorly. But of course, you can't look away. You have to continue watching as you get closer and closer to the crescendo of something truly awful happening. And this starts, of course, with the decision to use this archangel to locate her child. And when the person is explaining it to her, she's like, oh, well, you can use these parental controls so if they see something that's violent or dangerous or sexual in nature or hear something, you can just tune that out and they won't see that. That way you're protecting them.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I don't think I'll use that. And she's like, oh, well, you have it if you want it.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're walking home. And as they walk by, this really aggressive dog starts barking. And the mom's like, oh, well, that's... My daughter doesn't like that because a little thing goes off where it's showing that she's scared.
Her heart rate's increased.
Heart rate's increased. She's like,
yeah,
we'll just blur this dog out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the dog gets blurred. And this behavior continues from the mom of basically always have, and you can see all this stuff through a little tablet.
iPad thing, yeah.
Yeah. And she has this tablet on her at all times until the daughter's about 10. We'll say about 10 years old.
Sure.
And during this time, like, this daughter has never seen blood. She halfway witnessed her grandfather having a heart attack because she couldn't exactly see it. Once he started having a heart attack, like the screen got blurry. She couldn't hear what was going on.
Crazy.
And she essentially has been censored her entire life up until this point.
Yep.
And this is when,
mom turns it off.
The daughter says to the mom, like, well, she doesn't actually say anything. She realizes that there's blood, but she can't see it. And then one of her classmates asks her, have you ever seen blood? She's like, no. Never seen blood.
I think if I remember, mom takes like a pencil or pen or something.
She takes a pencil and starts stabbing herself in the finger.
Yeah, because she wants to see what's in the, yeah.
Yeah, and she still can't see the blood. Yeah.
It's blurred, yeah.
So
her mother finally takes it off. She goes to school, meets up with a boy who starts like showing her everything on the internet.
Like showing her violence, showing her porn, showing her everything. So her world has just been expanded 10 times.
Yeah. Yep, and she's walking home, dogs are barking. She's like, whoa, this happens every day.
Yeah, she gets freaked out the first time. But then, of course, as time goes by, it's fine. Because she kind of gets accustomed to everything and then becomes a teenager and starts doing things that teenagers do. She's hanging out with her friends. She's, kind of getting into a little bit of trouble that her mom probably wouldn't care for. But her mom doesn't know because she hid away the Archangel tablet. She hasn't used it.
Right.
Now, all the while, this mom has used this tablet as an excuse to not communicate with her daughter. Rather than explaining things in the world and having them learn through experience, she's simply censored everything.
Yes. Yep.
And
when she wants to know, instead of asking her daughter and trusting her or whatever, she'd just rather go to the tablet.
Exactly. If she sees her in a situation that she hasn't liked, she's blurred it. She's basically just protected her from the world. She's kind of used as to put her in a bubble.
Yeah, and quote unquote, air quotes, protected her from the world.
That she believes.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
And there's a complete lack of communication. Mom is just letting daughter go through a world that the mom sees fit.
Yep.
So then, of course, the daughter's 15 in high school. Likes a boy, the same boy that showed her all this stuff.
Yes.
And they go on basically like say the classic, oh, I'm going to go to Jenny's house and I'm going to go to Rachel's house. And Rachel and Jenny are not going to each other's houses. They're going to the beach to hang out with a bunch of other kids and smoke pot and do stuff that kids sometimes do in high school. So
sometimes, yeah, sure.
So the mom doesn't really think anything. She didn't really think anything. She's like, okay, no problem. So then she calls the other mom's house that she thinks she's at. She's like, oh, okay, how's the girls doing? And she's like, the other mom's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So
then she's like PTSD of when her child was a baby and got lost.
Yeah.
Starts calling all her neighbors, all her friends to know where the daughter's at. She's like, all right, time to go to the attic and find this archangel.
Yep. She freaks out and she panics and she's like, this is the only thing that can save me because I know it still works. Because now to her credit, I did appreciate this. The mom plugged it in. Because I wasn't going to buy it if she just pulled it out and turned it on. Because I'd be like, that battery's dead. Like, I understand this is the future, but that battery's dead.
Sure.
So she turns it on, and the first thing, of course, she sees is her daughter losing her virginity.
Yeah.
And sees the person she's losing it to. And her daughter using some adult language that she probably hasn't heard the words come out of her daughter's mouth before.
Yes, something she should not be saying.
And of course, rather than being honest with her daughter, which would most likely cause her daughter to be honest with her and create a scenario for a learning experience and adult conversation, the mom says nothing and acts like nothing happened, and then starts watching her daughter's every moves through the Archangel tablet. This is where things start going really, really wrong because, of course, the daughter doesn't know that this is happening. So she's seeing... she sees her daughter do drugs for the first time, after she saw her have sex for the first time, after she sees her interact with some of her schoolmates and always constantly seeing where she is. And she basically gets addicted to this tablet and watching her daughter. And then worse than watching, she tries to take action against the guy that she lost her virginity to, that her daughter lost her virginity to, and tried drugs with him for the first time, and confronts him and is like, stay away from my daughter.
Yeah, he does.
And
he stays away.
And all through this, she's not saying a damn thing to her daughter. She's literally, her entire life has never communicated, has never had a conversation that has taught her anything. She just thinks through this stupid tablet, she can just solve all of these problems.
Yeah. Then the train wreck.
So, as it turned out, her daughter was pregnant. But her daughter didn't know, because the tablet told her. So, of course, she breaks up some plan B and puts it in the smoothie that she's made her daughter every morning for the past 10 years. Puts it in there. Her daughter gets sick. Goes to the school nurse, and she's like, oh, well, good news is you're not pregnant anymore. And your daughter's like, what I'm talking about, I wasn't pregnant. She was like, it's okay, I'm not going to tell anyone. And then she starts to put everything together. Because her mom hasn't used the tablet in like 5 years. So she's not really thinking about it, but then she realizes, like, this is the only way we could have found out. So she goes in the house. She
suspects it. Goes in the house, turns over the trash can, finds the
plan B, then starts looking for the tablet. Finds it.
Tablet.
And then, of course, mom comes home.
Yeah.
And again, the mom still has the ability to be honest with the daughter and outrightly refuses and just lies to her face, saying that she didn't see anything, she just had it she just had it, and she hadn't been using it, and she just lies. And then the daughter beats the crap out of her, almost killing her with this tablet. And then, of course, runs away.
Yep. With the Ram trucker.
Yeah.
So her mom's worst fear basically came true in a way. Except instead of being kidnapped, she willingly just ran away.
I loved this episode, even though it's terrible. It's a terrible thing to happen. I watched it with my girlfriend who has an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old. So this is extremely was difficult for her to get through. Even though I think this was her favorite episode in the entire season.
Okay.
And I really liked it too. Even though it was like everything that happening was terrible, and you could see all of the wrong turns that the character, mainly the mom, was making every 2 minutes in this episode.
I don't really like this one.
Why not?
I thought it was kind of like, I don't know, in a way a little boring, because I feel like this technology of tracking your child was like, we talked about it in middle school or elementary school, and like, I felt like everything was extremely predictable. Like, you saw how everything was going to play out. You knew what was going to happen. You knew it was going to backfire. And it was just, I was waiting for the twist. I was waiting for like some big twist. There's never really a big twist. And
Well,
I don't know. I didn't really.
why did you?
I personally-
Why did you need a twist? Why do you need a twist?
I didn't need a twist
because so many. I mean, this series
because I
is
felt like
is not dependent on twists.
I know it's not dependent on twists, but I feel like everything so far had been so predictable.
I think
Like,
I think that's
so-
part. I think that's part of the charm of this. Charm, maybe not the best word, but is seeing you knowing immediately what's going to happen at the end, but seeing how it all plays out.
All right. Well, your charm was my poo. Okay.
Yeah, you are poo pooing it. I mean, I think. Like,
I didn't like it.
I mean, I also thought it was predictable, but I'm not concerned about the predictability.
Okay,
Like-
well, it's not unbreakable. I also just did not enjoy it. Like, there was no. I don't really connect with it. Like, I thought it was just stupid. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you're not
episode.
hurting my feelings.
I am a little bit.
No, you're not.
Okay, well, did not like this episode. I didn't really care for it.
That's fine. I just think that if your angle is because it was predictable, and also I don't think we didn't have this technology 10 years ago. We had the where's my child, but that's it. You couldn't
Right.
blur your child's vision or see out of their eyeballs
sure.
or see
Right, but
when they
as
had
soon as
narcotics
they-
in their system.
Yeah, but as soon as they introduced this, like, it was like, okay, this is going to happen.
That they thought that was going to happen. They thought that is this scenario is going to happen.
I thought, like, when she found out she could censor all this stuff, and then she censors it for the first time, like, this is the plan A scenario that I see. And I don't, like, sure, it's predictable, but, like, that's not the only reason. This concept for me is just very, I don't, like, it doesn't, like, make me squeamish. I don't like it. I don't dislike it. It's just very, like, whatever for me.
I mean, you don't, as a parent, you don't think that this is something that you have, as you've wanted to ensure that your son Aiden, like, is raised appropriately. You might not be using a tablet to blur his vision, but you want to protect him, and this is what this mom thought she was doing.
I know.
So
She wasn't.
Yeah, well, I know that, and you know that, and all the viewers know that. But it's like, I think it makes it honestly. This makes you think, like, what is protecting and what is helping your child develop, because traumatic experiences help people develop, and this kind of like all throw them on at one time.
All experiences help you all experiences help you develop.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
learn
I
from
think this just
everything.
serves as a
Learn from everything.
cautionary tale for people to think about themselves in that situation and how they would interact with it.
Whatever. Hashtag poo.
Ugh. All right.
Next.
Was Crocodile, and this
Crocodile.
one is pretty simple. A young woman and her boyfriend are driving down the road. They hit someone on a bike. Maybe killed them, maybe not. But either way, they want them to be gone because they don't want to admit that they hit someone because they were not in their right minds at the time. And they bundle him up and they basically throw him off a cliff and drown him. If he wasn't already dead. But
In a river. Yeah.
In a river.
Or a lake, whatever it is. Yeah.
Fast forward 15 years, and the
Couples.
the
not together.
woman in isolation has become, I believe, a very successful architect. And on a business trip, her former boyfriend that was in the car, that was driving the car, comes in and is like, "This has just been weighing on me. I got to tell these people. This is like,
Yeah. I'm in a AA.
yeah, the wife is like in the paper, like just like has made this foundation, and like not knowing what happened, that he just disappeared one day, and we know what happened, and I'm sorry, I got to tell."
Yeah. He's doing the steps like of that. One of them is like, get forgiveness, or so he's trying to get that off his shoulders because it's the biggest thing. He wants to tell the person
It's
that
been
he killed.
eating at him for 15 years.
Yeah. And she's just like, "Are you kidding me?"
Or it's been or it's been not eating at him for 14 years and 1 month, and then for the last month it's been eating at him.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, I think, is more likely.
Whatever the case is.
So she kills him.
Well, she tried. You just went to it. She tries to convince him not to. She tries to convince him like
She says no, and he's like, yes. And,
over and over again.
And she's like,
He's
how
"All right, I'm
about
calling you."
definitely no? I'm going to crush your windpipe.
She kills him. Yeah.
So then she's like, no problem. I'm going to carry this gigantic man. I'm going to put him on this this cart.
She can carry him.
She ordered
Yeah.
food, put him on a cart, but then she got him off of the cart, picked him up, his dead weight, put him into the car, off of the car, then dragged him into like this industrial
workout,
facility, and then put him into something where his body would dissolve. First
You
of
know
all, I
what?
don't think she has the.
This is what.
I don't think she has the upper body strength to do that. I'm just saying.
Nah, man.
My girlfriend brought this up. She's totally right. She totally couldn't. She's real small. I think she could kill him because of the adrenaline that was surely pumped through her veins. But after that, I mean, we're like hours in at this point.
No, I'm telling you, man. This girl has been doing CrossFit.
No way,
dude. When I do CrossFit, this is what I do. Okay, give me the dead body. Tell me push it around, roll it around. Here's a tire. Flip this tire.
Run it up this industrial conflict, man.
Exactly.
I'm not speaking from experience,
this is CrossFit
but I
101.
believe that a dead body is going to be really difficult to move because it's not easy to carry. It's all lumpy. It's flopping everywhere.
I don't know, man. CrossFit.
No,
that's CrossFit workout right there.
I just don't. I don't think so. Anyway,
it's definitely a CrossFit workout, though, right?
Yeah, this is. But okay, so we're only like 10 minutes into this episode.
Yeah.
All right. So she somehow Superman strengths this guy and carries his lifeless body, throws him down this industrial pipe for his body to melt, never to be seen again. She's like, cool, okay. It's eating away a little bit inside. I go home and I'm freaking out about it a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah, she's Superman, that hoe.
All the while, this insurance adjuster is working on a case that happened in front of the hotel that she was in on this business trip, in the room where she killed her old boyfriend. And he got hit by a self-driving like pizza car. You know, as an aside,
yes.
Do you know what I'm getting ready to say?
Yes, Pizza Hut's doing that.
Pizza Hut literally announced this like 3 days ago. And the car looks exactly the same as it did in Black Mirror.
Yeah,
like identical.
Black Mirror tweeted saying, "We've seen this before."
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah,
but hits basically the self-driving car hits a guy, like breaks his arm. And the insurance adjuster is going around to all the people that might have witnessed this, and she has this machine.
And beer.
That I'll get to that. She has this machine that allows a person to kind of open their mind up to this machine, and it can kind of display their memories, so someone can witness their memories. And this is generally used for for police work, or in this case, insurance work, to see if a crime was committed. So she goes around, and she gets a few other people, and eventually it leads her to our protagonist. And the protagonist knows that in this time, she shortly before she kind of saw what happened with the truck, because she remembers the pizza truck briefly. She's like, "Well, I just killed this guy." So at first she's like, "No, I don't want to do this. No, I'm going to pass on it." And she's like, "Yeah, no problem. Just know that it's illegal and you'll be arrested. I don't want to have to call the cops. It's a whole thing." And she's like, "Okay, yeah, come in." So she tries to psych herself up, and she's like, "All right, only think about." She ordered porn in the room, to kind of throw people off the trail in case there was any noise of any struggling. And ironically, it was one of the porn things that you saw on the screen was from a former Black Mirror episode, 15 Million Merits, which was Wraith Babes, which I thought was a cool callback. And she's like, just think about porn, and just think about the room service that I got. So of course she does the opposite, and she thinks about all of these these now two people that she's killed. The first guy that she threw over the cliff 15 years ago with a boyfriend, and then her boyfriend that she just killed a day or so ago in the hotel room. So the insurance adjuster sees this and is like, you know what? I think I'm just going to peace out. And she's like, no, wait. And she's like, no, I'm going to go. I'm going to go. Yeah. She's like, you know what? I didn't see anything. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm just going to go. We don't even need to talk about this.
Yeah.
So, of course, our short-haired Superman, our 90-pound Superman lady is like, I don't want to have to do this, but I am going to have to kill you.
Yep.
So she knocks her out, drives her car over, asks her some questions, and in a interesting turn of events, she's like, well, you know, if I kill you, who's going to miss you? And she's like, no one knows I'm here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And she doesn't believe her.
Because at this point, she's trying to get away.
Yeah, she's going to say anything to not die.
Yeah.
And the insurance adjuster. And short-haired Superman is like, look, I just want to be rid of this situation. But I need to know if anyone knows you're here. And of course she says no. And she's like, well, you know what? You have this handy-dandy machine that looks at memories.
Yeah.
So I'm going to plop this on your head. She plops it on, and what does she see? Obviously the insurance adjuster's husband. So she's like, all right, you know how this goes. And she's screaming, and then she bashes her head in with a rock. So kill count 3.
Crazy, yeah.
What's it in? I guess we'll get to that in a second. So kill count of 3 for short-haired Superman.
Yep.
So then, of course, as every rational person would do, she drives her car, gets the address of where the insurance adjuster lives, goes into the insurance adjuster's house, and as her husband is in the bathtub, offs the husband too. Bashes his head in.
And then...
Kill count of 4.
Oh my god. Yeah. Then combo kill 4. Then she hears...
Then as she's leaving
crying.
the house, she hears a noise.
Oh my
she's
god.
like, is that a baby?
Exactly. Yeah. She's like, yeah, that's her. She's like, bitch, is that a baby?
Yeah.
Exclamation mark above her head.
Yeah. And she goes downstairs. The baby's there making some noise. Scene fades away.
Yeah, you don't know what happens
at the time.
Yeah.
Then she meets her husband and daughter, or husband and son, at a little play that he's doing. And ironically, the play, they're all dressed up as like gangsters and mobsters and people that have made terrible life decisions. And she's freaking out, like in her mind, but she's trying to maintain her cool. And then, of course, it goes to the cops, which have been alerted to something.
I think they're playing Bugsy Malone as what they're acting out. But what's crazy is the police. Well, while she's there, the police are investigating the murder, and they've noticed and they tell you that the kid she actually killed,
the baby, which was in the crib, she did ultimately kill on her way out.
Yeah. Was also blind.
So not only did she kill this kid, she didn't even need to, because his little baby memories can't even be used to help solve this crime. So that was just like
he saw nothing.
Yeah, because he's blind. So it was like just an extra little dagger to be like, oh, this person just killed this baby for no reason.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Ollie, your very favorite part.
Oh my god.
At the end.
Yeah, so the police like somehow managed to take his memory device. They see like a little hamster gerbil guinea pig thing. Like, all right, guys, let's extract his memories. They put this thing to his tiny brain, I guess, and probably give him some beer. Here, smell some beer, gerbil, and smell some popcorn. Now tell us.
Popcorn?
What did you see?
Yeah, I don't...
It's like...
sure.
I don't know. That's too much for me. I mean, like... even if the gerbil, or the guinea pig, whatever it was, even if it saw... Like, how do we know they see the same way we do? even if they do, how are you going to trust a super small
That's all you got,
animal?
man. That's all you got is that guinea pig.
Oh,
You got all you got is the guinea pig, man.
I just don't get it. Don't get it.
Even if we suspend our disbelief that this tiny woman is capable of moving this huge man dead body around, which I'm still hung up on.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're supposed to learn from this episode other than don't kill people because you'll get in trouble, like a lot of trouble. Especially if there's a memory machine hanging around where you can just get memories from other people. Especially don't do it then. So here's the thing. Black Mirror is mostly supposed to be a kind of warning for the future for technology. I don't see a ton of downside to this technology unless it's for people committing crimes.
Don't commit crimes, people.
Yeah, like if crimes, if you're someone that's going to commit a crime and you know that this technology exists, maybe it should dissuade you, especially from killing someone, since that's a pretty bad one, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, ultimately, like, I guess the lesson is yourself becomes in danger for things happening just based on kind of just being around it, even if you don't realize, because that's how the insurance adjuster got offed.
What's crazy is, like, sorry, off topic, but kind of off topic. This woman was trying to protect her family and herself.
Well, I mean, she was trying to protect them in the sense that she was trying to cover up a heinous thing that she did half her life ago.
Yes.
She wasn't trying to protect them like someone was out to get them.
Right.
So, so I just want to make a clear distinction. Sure.
And ends up axing an entire family that's innocent and, like, actually good people, and her ex-boyfriend from forever ago.
Yeah. What's it called on in League of Legends when you get like five kills?
Pentakill?
Yeah, she got the pentakill on this episode.
She did get the pentakill.
She got the guy at the very beginning, she got her boyfriend, she got the insurance adjuster, the insurance adjuster's husband, and then their baby. And
then her killing spree was ended.
Yes, it was.
By a gerbil.
It's a guinea pig. They're different animals. It's a guinea pig.
By the hamster.
Oh my god. So this was I think this is my least favorite episode of this season.
I like this one.
Man, see, and this just shows how great this show is, because like we just felt completely differently on Archangel and Crocodile.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a lot of room for discussion on this episode, I guess, is my problem. And that's really why I like this show. It's like, yeah, I guess
I guess you liked it. I guess you didn't like it. I mean, this one is just, I liked it because it was just, God, it was just like, you saw her like, well, I don't want to kill you, but I've already killed one person, and I'm already messed up.
I'm already in for two, so why not make it 3?
I might as well keep going. And then the baby's like the kicker. It's like, all right, she's killed 4 people. There's no way she killed the baby. Like, there's no way. And then you're like, she killed the baby.
Yeah, she's already 4. I guess that's my problem. I feel like this episode
4 feet deep.
I feel like this episode existed only to elicit a really specific type of emotion towards the protagonist, which I guess it successfully does. But like, I don't know how, like, the only time I felt for her is when her boyfriend came back and was like, I'm going to tell. And she didn't even want him to. She didn't want that to happen in the first place. Like, she tried to call initially 15 years earlier, and he's like, I'm just going to do it now. I don't care about you. My life is poop. You're having a great life, so I'm not really worried about that. That's kind of messed up. Like, it's not fair. But again, she still did it. Like, she still threw him off the cliff.
Yeah,
so you kind of lost the right to be upset about it. Yeah.
Like, what would happen to her if she just confessed with her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend?
Well, her career's over.
Yeah.
So, probably ruins her life.
Sure.
So, I mean, I get it. You don't want to do that. I don't know. I think it's really easy for us to say we wouldn't do anything similar in her situation. because we all want to think that we're not capable of doing that extreme to keep the level of comfort that we have in our lives.
I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could kill for that. Like I'm sure.
I don't think anyone would say that they could.
I mean, I'm sure somebody would. I'm sure.
I think most people. I mean, I don't think I would. Like, I'm not saying that I would or could.
Jonathan Suarez could.
We'll have to ask him.
Yep.
So, any other thoughts on the first 3 episodes of Black Mirror from season 4?
No.
Okay.
That's it for
All
me.
right. So, guys, next week we are going to be going over episodes 4, 5, and 6 of season 4 of Black Mirror. Those contain, I think, a lot of our favorite episodes. So we're really excited about the discussion for next week. But we've gone long enough today, so we're going to wrap up this episode of Think Twice. We'll be back in just a minute. All right, Ali, you have a weekend where you are not going to be traveling to a tournament. So, what lies ahead?
I'm playing a tournament Saturday at home in my boxers. It's the first Dead of Winter 5K for Hex, and I'll be playing that tournament.
Awesome. No pre-releases?
No pre-releases.
You're already bored. You're yawning at the sight
I'm
sound of Rivals of Ixalan.
Like, see, like I'm already tired now, and recording it's like 11. Like I can't do later than that. Like I'm done. I'm tagging out. Too old.
I'm probably not doing any pre-releases. I'm going to a basketball game, a Duke basketball game. I'm a Duke basketball fan. Have been my entire life. Didn't choose it. I'm from North Carolina. It was chosen for me as I was a child. So, for everyone that's hating on that, sorry. If you're from North Carolina and you understand that, and you're if you're originally from that area, you don't pick. It's picked for you, and that's just what you are. So I'm a Duke fan, have been my entire life.
Locked in.
You are locked in. It's people from outside of North Carolina have trouble understanding that because they just don't believe us, but it is the truth. So lifelong Duke fan. I'm going to every year I go to a game in Cameron Indoor Stadium, which is Duke's basketball home court, with my dad. So we're gonna do that on Saturday. Super pumped about that. I might maybe hit up a midnight pre-release the night before. The game's not until 12, so I think I might be able to swing it. There is a place in Durham where I could go called Atomic Empire, or I think that's what it is, Atomic Games, Atomic Empire. It's one of those. So we'll kind of see. We'll have to wait and see. Not exactly sure.
All right.
Yeah, I know you're excited about the sports ball, Ali.
I am. I'm just like, yeah. I'm. Can you tell?
I can tell. I can't. The energy is palpable, even through the screen.
Oh man.
So, Ali, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Twitters at www.twitter.com/Ali Aintrazi. Same is true for my Twitch. You can find my articles at gatheringmagic.com. They come out every Friday. So when this comes out, there should be a top 10 cards. My top 10 cards for Rivals of Ixalan is out. And then next week, I'll have an article up every day doing a set review for Rivals of Ixalan for the standard portion of standard. Always.
Wow, so not even the modern portion of standard. That's impressive.
Just the standard portion of standard.
Okay.
You should definitely check that out too. I'm going to review it as if energy is getting banned or something is banned. So you should definitely check it out. See what cards maybe you should pick up or what's going to be playable or good. So
awesome.
That's me.
Awesome.
Gary Parnell.
You can find me on the Twitters as well, twitter.com/jparnell1. And of course, I am the host of the Commander Versus series on StarCityGames.com and YouTube. Season 10 with 10 fingers is starting next week. I know. I don't know what we're going to do with season 11 because we only have 10. Like, I guess we're going to get toes involved. But season 10 of Commander Versus is coming to you 11 a.m. next Wednesday. And myself and Jeremy Knoll, also from Commander Versus, we filmed some crossover content with Channel Fireball this week. So we actually did a two-headed giant game with James and Dennis of Windmill Slam. So that was a lot of fun. And that's actually going to appear on Channel Fireball's their YouTube account, but I will make sure to link it if you're following me on Twitter. So that's going to be a ton of fun. If you want to if you want to follow the show or contact the show, you could do so on Twitter, twitter.com/thinktwicemtg. And if you want to do a little more personal method, you can contact us, thinktwicemtg@gmail.com. Now, of course, you can find the show in a variety of mediums. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on YouTube. We would love for you to leave a comment or a review on any of those, or share it, tell people about it. That's really the best way for you to help this podcast continue to grow, is tell other people about it. The more earballs we can get on this, the better. In addition to sharing it, we would really love you guys if you were able to contribute, if you are able to support the show on Patreon. And that's patreon.com/thinktwicemtg. We have a lot of reward tiers right now. One as little as $1, one as much as $30. And there's a lot in between. We have a lot of rewards at each of those. So if you are a follower of the show and you want to support the show, there's a variety of ways you can do that on Patreon. And that is the way that it makes the most impact to us for the immediate future of the show. So,
and for those that do support us on there, thank you very much. You guys are MVPs, and I appreciate you. I know Justin appreciates you. We all appreciate you, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. And we have a new Disciple of Bolus tier Patreon supporter, Cody N. Cody, thank you very much for your support, and welcome to the show. Thank you,
Cody.
Thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you for being a part of Bolus' team as well.
That's right. Bolus is the best team. Ollie and I, we disagree on Erebos and Crewfix, but ultimately we know who's the ultimate power.
Yeah, there's always a greater power.
That's Daddy B.
But there's one more greater than Bolus.
What is that?
Emrakul.
I'm going to have to disagree.
Another topic.
Only one of them's trapped on the moon right now, and it's not Nickel B.
Another topic, another day.
I'm saying, okay. We also want to give a special thanks to our director and producer, John Choi, and our graphic designer, Amber West, as well as our agent of Bolus producers, Gordon Russell, Daniel Hunt, Josh Lyons. We could literally not do the show without you guys in particular. Thank you very much for your support. Ollie, that's it for the show this week, man. I'm excited to see what happens with these bannings next week. Excited about Magic Story for next week, and finish up BlackMirror. How about you?
Me too. I'm super excited about Monday for the bannings, and I just want to dive into the story. I wish they would just give it all to us.
I like it piecemeal. I like it one at a time. I just want to dive in and swim in it and immerse myself and just never get back out. Well, I mean, you got the flood this week. What more do you need?
The flood part 2.
All right. Ollie, you're the best co-host I could ever have. I love you, buddy. Thank you very much.
I love you too, man.
All right. And we want to thank you guys as well, and we will talk to you guys next week.
All right, bye, guys.